After starting the franchise on this channel with Final Fantasy IV, I always knew that I wanted the next game I covered to be one of the franchise's many spin-offs. But the question was, which one? In the end I settled for Final Fantasy Adventure, as it also allows me to get a start on the Mana series. I used to see some confusion over that, with people declaring this game not a Final Fantasy. I don't know how much of that confusion is still around, but I may as well clear it up. People will say that the game's Japanese name is Seiken Densetsu, as in the first of the Mana series, with Secret of Mana being Seiken Densetsu 2 and so on. But the full Japanese name is Seiken Densetsu Final Fantasy Gaiden. Then the sequels would drop Final Fantasy from the name and become their own series, as would any remakes this game would have. So this game is both a Final Fantasy spin-off and the first game in a completely different series, so this is the only Mana game I also count as a Final Fantasy game. This isn't a Final Fantasy Legend situation where the games actually had nothing to do with Final Fantasy. Of course, over here in the PAL territories we didn't get the first 6 Final Fantasy games at first, so this was just called Mystic Quest, with Final Fantasy Mystic Quest becoming just Mystic Quest Legend with Final Fantasy dropped from the name. But we did get Final Fantasy Legend somehow, with that name. But the Mana series is one I don't have that much experience with. I'd played a few seconds of Secret of Mana back as a kid when our first Xbox had SNES 9X on it, but then at the start of 2020 I gave it a full playthrough on the Collection of Mana, which is also what I'm using for this game. But before that, I do also own Children of Mana on the DS, which I got for Christmas 2007, but I never got very far on it. And then this playthrough here is my first time playing this game. It's going to be nice to play an RPG with a much simpler 100% requirement for me after Final Fantasy IV, Guardians Crusade and Pokemon. Simply collect all the treasure and fully level my one character while playing the game normally. So let's get into it. Starting a new game gives you a quick explanation of what's going on. The source of the world's mana, the Mana Tree, grows above the clouds at the top of Mount Illusia and is said to grant infinite power to any who touch it. And there's this Dark Lord called Dark Lord who's after it so he can use that power to conquer the world. I have to name the main character, and based on what I've looked up, his canon name is Sumo, so that's what I'll be going with. I also have to name the female lead, who looks to be called Fuji. Once I'm done naming, we start with Sumo entering a gladiator arena to fight the first boss, the Jackal. The only attack I have right now is my sword, which I stab forward like in the first Zelda, and also swing like the later 2D games. But the longer I go without attacking, the more this bar along the bottom fills, allowing me to do a stronger attack that then empties the bar again. Just a few good hits takes it down. We're told that Sumo is a fighter for the Empire of Glaive, and he and his friends are forced to fight every day for the Dark Lord's entertainment. Many of them have died as a result of the fights, which leads to Sumo standing over his dying friend, Willy. He tells Sumo that the world's mana is in danger and to go find the Gemma Knights and warn them. Willy tells him to find one of them called Bogard at the falls, saying he should know what to do. Sumo has no idea what he's talking about, but Willy dies before he can explain further. Whacking him with the sword doesn't help either. I leave the room where I can talk to other friends. There's Amanda, who says they need to escape as she wants to go home and see her brother. Then this other guy who doesn't even have a name, so who cares. He does at least let me know that the way outside is through the entranceway that the monster's in though. So I go east and up the stairs, leading back into the arena, where I have to fight a second Jackal. I take it out the same way and run through the door, but I'm next seen climbing down the castle wall. I travel to the west to find a waterfall, but stand back and watch as the Dark Lord and his right hand, Julius, are there. Listening in, we learn that the Mana Tree is above that waterfall in a shrine. The only way to reach the tree is up the falls, and the only way up them is to find the girl with the power to reverse the falls. The Dark Lord then sends Julius to find her. Julius teleports out, putting Sumo in the Dark Lord's line of sight. He gives chase and Sumo runs off, finding his back to the top of another waterfall. The Dark Lord rugby tackles Sumo off the cliff and he falls all the way down the waterfall, passing out and waking up with no idea where he is. He gets over it quick though and I can get going. East takes me to a screen with some enemies, goblins and mushbooms. Mushbooms are no threat while the goblins can at least throw swords. I go east again and the goblin I kill here drops a chest with some candy, a healing item. I then go south and on the next screen I go east again. I go through the fence to the north to reach the town Topple. This place isn't very important, but it does give me my first chance to heal at an inn and buy items and equipment. I check my equipment and see I'm starting with a broadsword and a full set of bronze armour. I leave the town and go south to another screen and then east to the next. There's a woman next to an injured man shouting for help. I take out the single mushboom menacing them. The girl says that the guy, Hasim, is seriously wounded. I talk to Hasim and he tells me to take the girl to Wendell to see Bogard, who will take care of her. Hasim then dies. I'm only 10 minutes into the game and I've already seen 2 named NPCs die. Sumo says he's looking for Bogard too and asks her to come with him. She introduces herself as Fuji and joins me. Now Fuji will travel alongside me. Talking to her through the menu will have her slightly heal me, which will be very useful because I want to make some money for some equipment in Topple, and having Fuji healing me for free will save me money that would be spent on an inn. So I run between screens killing enemies for money. Money is automatically added to your GP total on killing each enemy. I also reached level 2. On each level up I'm given a stat I can add extra points to. I want to try and get each stat as high as possible. I start by choosing power, which adds 2 to my power stat, 1 each to stamina and will, but nothing to wisdom. Each one is like this, 2 to the one you choose, 1 each to 2 others and nothing to a 4th one. 3 minutes into this little grind I also reached level 3, choosing wisdom. That's 2 to wisdom, 1 to stamina and will, and nothing to power, putting all stats at a nice even 4. 5 minutes later and I reach level 4. I choose power again. It seems alternating between power and wisdom is all I need as it keeps them all balanced, so I won't point out what I choose anymore. All even numbered levels are power and all odd numbered levels are wisdom. Once I have enough I buy myself a 140 GP iron helmet in Topple. It's only 1 point stronger but it's still an upgrade. I also buy myself a pack of 4 keys for later. Time to get moving. From the screen outside of Topple I go east, east again, south, east once again, north and then west back to this screen where I can cross the bridge across the river and go north. New enemy on this screen, the iconic Rabbite making its first appearance, along with my first Chibi Devils, but I can't reach most of them so I go west and west again to find some I can reach. They only deal 4 damage on contact, but this early on that's still a big amount. I ignore the vine here and go west and then north to climb the 2 vines here north to the next screen. I climb around the 2 vines north and 2 vines south back to the previous screen, then west to another and north up another vine so I can enter the house next to this waterfall. I talk to the old man inside and Sumo tells him he's looking for Bogard, but he ignores him. Talk to him again and he says he doesn't know anything. Then one more time before he notices Fuji's pendant, the Pendant of Mana, which Fuji says was given to her by her mother. He admits to being Bogard, once a Gemma Knight back when another empire, Vandal, was trying to use mana to conquer the world. The knights fought against them, but mana was too powerful. One woman managed to get them to victory, one who had the same pendant. He recognises Fuji as the key for the current time. He tells me to take the mattock from the next room, go to the cave east of here and use the mattock to break my way through and find Kibba in the town Wendell. He opens a door into the back room and I take the mattock from the chest. I gain 7 actually since these are a 1-use item and they're going to cause me a bit of trouble. So to start with, I backtrack across a few screens and once I reach the east end of the screen with 2 vines on that side, I take the eastern exit to the next screen between them. I go east across 2 more vines to reach the screen containing the cave entrance. I can see rocks blocking the way forward and equip the mattock as an item. 1 swing is all you get from them, so make sure you hit what you're aiming for. I go south through the entrance I opened, cross a bridge and go south again to reach a room with some stairs. They lead me back outside and on the opposite side of the river on a screen I've passed through before. I go east, cross the bridge and reach level 5. There's a lot of pauses on the recordings on these stat screens because I was individually writing down every level and the choice I made to make absolutely sure I didn't mess it up. Just whole pages of a notebook saying power, wisdom, power, wisdom. I keep going east, south, east and into the house here. The man inside is selling a battle axe for 150 GP, but I'm 20 short. So I do a bit of killing across the last few screens to speed it up. I buy it and it's 4 points stronger than the broadsword. Axes are just better to use than swords anyway since every attack is a swinging motion, which means I'm covering more space when fighting. I go east another screen to enter the marshes. 2 new enemies on this screen, the jellyfish Grell and the Deathflower. Nice to see enemies granting a whole 4 GP. I go south and south again on the next screen. Here is where I face my first Swamp Man, completely immune to my axe so I just go west. I run right into a Grell and get poisoned. Poison only lasts a few seconds, so I just have Fuji heal me to outpace it until it wears off. I go west again and on the next screen cross a bridge and west again, taking me to this large building. This is a hotel, Ketz. The man in the first room says that most rooms are taken, but I'm free to use the western rooms. He also says I'm not allowed through the door behind him, as it's for a Mr. Lee. There's a couple people in a room to the north, one of which tells me of a mystic mirror that the owner of this place threw away in a cave, and a white mage who says there's a lizard man nest to the south. She says they have the key to open the Cave of Marsh. I go to the west to the other room, and despite the not very welcoming music in this place, I go to sleep. Through the night, Fuji tells Sumo she thinks he should be able to use cure magic and gives him the magic book that teaches it. Just in time for her to disappear during the night so she can't heal me herself. And don't think I ever noticed that Sumo keeps his shield on his arm even in bed. I ask the guy in the first room but he claims to not know anything. Can't do anything else and so I leave and backtrack east 3 screens and then go south to find that lizard man nest that was mentioned. The first one I kill then brings me up to level 6. These guys move slowly and they liked to not aim their arrows at me so it takes little effort to kill them. Taking them all out spawns a chest in the middle containing a bronze key. I then go back north and east to a new screen where I learn that swamp men are incredibly strong at this point in the game, as one being near when I enter the screen has me almost dead. But Cure is pretty good right now, just 2 MP and my max HP is low enough that I get a full heal. I go north again and use the bronze key to open the door to the Cave of Marsh. Inside is a guy dressed just like a red mage. I talk to him and he says that many girls have gone missing in Ketz. He thinks they'll be being kept in the caskets in the basement. He also asks me if I need help looking for the Mystic Mirror. Of course I have him join. I go north to meet my first roper and land leech. The nameless man is quite helpful, sending out streams of big fireballs. I go west into the next screen, take out the enemies and step on this switch to open up some stairs in the corner. It takes me outside where I cross this log east, climb down the vine at the end and go back west to find a way back inside. Nothing in this room and so I go east to the next. I use a mattock in the middle south between these rocks to break down the wall and open up a new room. I slide over the ice to reach a chest containing a sickle. It's 1 point stronger than the battle axe, but more important is that sickles can cut down these plants blocking my exit. They're also swung in a full circle and faster than axes, which is nice. I backtrack all the way to the start and take the southern route instead. Inside is a green slime but is immune to my sickle, so I need the man to kill it. On the western wall between the grass, I use another mattock to break down another wall. This screen has my first skeleton enemies who are far less a threat than the slimes. Killing all enemies in here gets me to level 7. There's a locked door to the north and I use one of my keys on it. Inside is an empty chest and a switch that goes back up as soon as I step off it. So I push the chest onto it and go down the stairs in the corner. Inside are 2 plants my sickle can't reach in the middle of some water. So I backtrack 2 rooms and go west, then west again. Nothing much and I go north to find a room filled with plants to cut. One of them drops a chest with another 4 keys inside, which is helpful. I use one to go through the locked door to the east. I take out all the enemies to spawn a chest containing an iron shield. I go back and cut through the plants to go north and then east again. I use a mattock to destroy the rock in the corner to reveal some stairs to a wall covered in vines. I climb down to the bottom and cross a bridge going west to a door back inside. I unlock the only door in this room and go west, then south, then unlock the door going east. Killing the enemies in this room gets me to level 8. I use 2 mattocks on the top and bottom rocks so that I can stand on the switches to open more stairs. Down those stairs, I go east one more time to reach a boss, the Hydra. It moves around the water spitting fireballs from both heads. I have to wait for it to get close enough to me so that I can whack it in the head with the sickle. It's pretty easy and I just wait for it to take enough hits to die. It leaves behind a bridge and 2 chests. The first one contains the magic book of fire, the second has the mirror. The man tells me to show the mirror to the guy at Ketz. He then leaves and I'm walked to the door to the cave. The fire spell is a homing attack and it's one of the ways to kill swamp men. I return to Ketz and take the chance to have a snooze since Fuji isn't here to heal me for free. I go up to the man and show him the mirror. It reveals his true form, a werewolf. He just wanders around for a bit and 4 hits takes him out, opening the door to the east. New enemies in this room, the pumpkin and the blood owl. I unlock the door going east and since the man abandoned me, I can't kill the slimes for free anymore. I just ignore them and unlock the door going north. Another 2 enemies, zombie and were-rat. The zombies are immune to my weapons so I have to use fire on them. I unlock the door going west and in the next room go up the stairs. I go south through the door and use my last mattock to break open the eastern wall. I then go north and east around the blocks and south. In this room I reach level 9 and go south again, then west. But there's a problem. I didn't need to use a second mattock in that one room in the Cave of Marsh and now I've run out. And you can't buy any more yet. I have no choice but to either restart the game or just keep killing enemies until one of them drops a chest, which has a rare chance of having a mattock inside. This is the only complaint I have with the early game of Final Fantasy Adventure, which, without saying much, I found more enjoyable than the early game of Secret of Mana. I just don't think you should have to do something perfectly or be trapped grinding out rare drops for a while. I mean, I was using a guide to make sure I found every treasure. Someone working it out for themselves would be fucked. I reached level 10 during this search and while I still don't have a mattock, the enemy drops have me loaded up on keys. 10 minutes it takes for a skeleton back near the start to drop a set. Back to that room I smash a vase to reach the switch to open some stairs going down. In this room I go east, then north and unlock another door going north. It takes me to a chest containing a chain. The chain is 1 point stronger than the sickle, but only attacks in a straight line. I need to use it to latch onto this post and drag myself over the blocks that have trapped me inside. I then press the switch so I can leave. I return to the vase room and go up the other set of stairs. It has me outside and high up. I go west and use the chain to cross a gap. West again and down some stairs to end up back inside. I go west, north and reach level 11. I then try to chain across this pit but fall in. In this new room I go north, up the stairs and south to reach the other side of the pit anyway. I go east, east again and north, then west to reach another room where I have to push a chest onto a switch to create some stairs to go down. In this room I use a mattock on the bottom right vase to find more stairs going down. From here I go east, then unlock a door going south to find a room full of caskets. I find Fuji in one of them and she gets following me again. She's unharmed, but more importantly, I have my free heal back. I now have to make my way back to the start. It's a long trek and nothing interesting happens until I make it back to the entrance. The before mentioned Mr. Lee isn't happy with me taking one of his victims and reveals himself to be a vampire, the next boss. He swoops around the screen releasing bats, but most of them are killed by my chain as I'm hitting him. It doesn't take very long to kill him and I receive the magic book of sleep for it. We leave the place and Fuji says that Wendell is to the south. So I go the 3 screens east and 1 south to return to the lizard man nest. Then it's west to a screen covered in plants, so I have to re-equip my sickle to cut through and go south. I go west and then north, and on the next screen chain across the river, and on this side go back south and east, then south for another new enemy. The orcs on this screen get me to level 12. I go south again and fight my first killer bees. These are another one that can poison on contact, so the chain is a good weapon for fighting them from a distance. I go east and on the next screen there's a bridge going north leading to the town Wendell, known as the Sacred Town. The man who helped me out in the Cave of Marsh is in the southeast corner of town, still not telling me his name. In the middle of town I can learn the reason this town is doing so well. The rivers that flow through this town and support its nature flow from the waterfalls flowing from the Tree of Mana itself. One kid tells me there's a dwarf cave to the west and with all the money I've built up I can upgrade my equipment. An iron shield and some iron armour combined for a 5-point increase to my defence. I enter the temple in the middle of town to meet the sage Kibba. He already knows about us from Bogard. He confirms Fuji's pendant carries the symbol of mana and has her step into the magic circle. She does so and calls forth the spirit of her mother. Kibba says that she was the one who encouraged the Gemma Knights in the past. She tells Fuji that they are from the Mana family, the seeds of the Mana tree. The Vandal Empire abused the tree's power years ago and so she sealed off the waterfalls with the pendant, preventing any others from reaching it. But now they have a new empire going after the Mana tree with Glaive. She tells Fuji to guard the tree with the Gemma Knights and then disappears. Explosions can be heard and the man comes in saying that Glaive is attacking the town. He offers to take Fuji to a safe place and leaves with her. And he's never even there before, what a kind man. Seconds later, Kibba asks where this safe place actually is, so Sumo goes check. Turns out the man is actually a bit dodgy as he attacked the town greeter from behind on his way out, mortally wounding him. The town is filled with monsters but it's all weak early game stuff so it's easy. Then I make my way to the bridge leading into town. The man is waiting and he sheds his disguise to reveal that he was Julius all along. He only helped Sumo because he needed to be sure that Fuji was the girl they're looking for, and watching the conversation with her mother confirmed it. But Glaive have her now, and when Sumo tries to save her, Julius knocks him out and leaves him there. Sumo wakes up back in the temple with Kibba. When Sumo wakes up, Kibba tells him that Julius has taken Fuji to the west on his airship. Before Sumo takes off after her, Kibba gives him the magic book of heal, the spell that cures status ailments. I don't buy any yet, but I should mention that you can buy mattocks in Wendell, meaning I no longer have to grind enemy drops if I run out. From Wendell, I go west, then south and west again. The beach it takes me to has my first encounter with death crabs who can throw their claws at me. I have to equip my axe here so I can cut down the trees and move north and then west. I go west again where killing a pair of orcs gets me to level 13. From here it's south and into the cave entrance. In this first room is a dwarf, just a straight up classic Final Fantasy dwarf sprite. Going south and west through the rooms takes me to a dwarf who tells me about one called Watts, who loves the mines and is currently there. Wrong there by the way. One says that if I go to the mines and want to use the trolley there, I have to get oil which can be bought from a shop to the south. The last one has seen Julius's airship, saying that I need to go through the Gaia Pass to reach the western lands. From the cave I go back north and chain across the river to go south again. South again and east to find a hut. This is the shop the dwarf mentioned and I buy the oil for 500 GP. From the ship I go north, chain across the river and north again to a screen I've already visited, then north again, cut down some trees and north again. On this screen I have to cut my way through the right path, as many trees here will leave tiny stumps that Sumo can't be asked to try climbing over. When I make it through, I go west to a screen with the entrance to the silver mine. First screen just has the trolley and I use the oil to get it moving. I ride through the next room, taking out my first tarantula, miss both switches as I ride through the rooms and end up going in a circle. Also, it's total bullshit that me driving a minecart into a spider at high speeds ends not with the spider being obliterated, but with me being poisoned. The chain is clearly not useful enough and so I use the sickle's range to hit the first switch and send me south. That just shortens the loop and doesn't help me. On another of my cycles I reach level 14. Instead I loop around to the second switch and hit that one to send me south. But then I miss a third switch and end up back in the loop. Next time I'm ready for it and I hit it to send the trolley west where it crashes into a rock and sends me flying down a pit. After waking up I find that Wass is there. He decides to tag along and help me out. Talking to Watts through the menu allows me to buy a few items from him, and make sure to get some Mattox while he's here. North into the next room introduces another two new enemies, the Mimic and the Ruster. Watts fights by throwing an unlimited supply of axes around. I break through the rock at the top with the Mattock and go east, then break through another rock and go south. This room contains a full recovery spring, so it's back north and breaking down the eastern wall. In this next room I smash a vase, stand on the switch it leads me to, and then slide along the ice to the stairs it creates. It leads outside where I go west, cross a bridge, and keep moving west and then back into the cave. In here it's west and then north and up the stairs in the corner. Through the door to the west and then down a set of stairs to end up back outside again. I climb down the vine to reach the boss of this place, the Megapede. It comes out of one of the 4 holes in this arena and moves about, with only its head taking damage. The length of the chain is helpful here, being able to hit the head through any invincible body segments blocking the way. While Watts is invincible, his aim isn't that great and he rarely gets any hits in. It takes quite a few hits, but it eventually explodes and leaves behind a chest containing silver. We warp to the entrance and Watts says he'll take the silver and forge armour and weapons out of it, saying Gaia will let me pass if I wear silver. He sets off ahead, leaving me to backtrack to the dwarf cave alone. It doesn't take long. I talk to Watts who says I can have the silver equipment, but then charges me for it. Good thing I can afford everything. Silver armour, a silver shield and a silver sword. 3 extra defense and the silver sword is 4 points stronger than the chain. From the cave I go north and the first enemy I kill gets me to level 15. I needed that too for the full heal you get on level up, since my MP was almost gone. I go north again, west and north to reach another cave. This is the Gaia Pass. I go west here and get to show off a fully charged sword attack, making me zoom back and forth around the screen. I go south and try to go south again, but a door slams shut when I get close. I just have to step back onto the tile that shut it to open it again. It then leads me to some stairs that put me back on the overworld. Before I can move on, Bogard catches up with me. He's been filled in on the situation by Kibber and says there's still time to save Fuji as the airship is refuelling at a lake to the north. And so he joins up with me and we go south. Werewolves are now a regular enemy and Bogard fights with simple sword stabs. Bit underwhelming compared to the company I've had before him. I move south and west meeting the first Sahagin in the game, throwing tridents from the water. I go north again and east which puts me in an enclosed space with the wolves from a few screens back. Thanks to how quickly I can kill them, this makes for an amazing grinding spot, so I get to it. They can blind me, but it's not a big issue. Now I've got the time, I'd just like to say I never got bored of this overworld theme, Endless Battlefield. It was so catchy. I was interested, so I listened to the versions from the remakes, Sword of Mana and Adventures of Mana, but I actually like this original version most. The other versions were good, especially the Adventures of Mana version, but I just feel like this is one of those tracks that sounds best as the chiptune it was first made as. 28 minutes here and I've doubled my level, going from level 15 to level 30. Look at them stats, no should be killing me anytime soon. So going back west, I continue north again to find another 2 enemies, the Porcupine and the Mandrake. The hut here is an inn. I cut through the trees here and move west and west again, north and into the shop here. I'm loaded after all that grinding, so I can easily afford to complete the silver set with a silver helmet. It's absolutely worth it, increasing my defense by 5, as if I'm in any danger right now. I go east from the shop, then east again and north to reach the lake Bogard mentioned. I cut down the trees and go east, chain across the river while dealing with the new gas cloud enemy shooting little tornadoes at me, then north and east, chaining up a cliff and going west. I climb down the vine and take the southern west exit so I can chain across to another post and go south. Then west and north 2 screens to reach the airship. I climb the chain here to get on board. I take the west and north exit and then go west and south, running into a guy who tells me that a girl is being held here. I know. I go through the door and inside I go through another door to the west. I'm strong enough now that my sword can kill the previously immune slimes. I move west some more to meet my first I Spy, looking like Suezo from Monster Rancher. West again takes me to my first ghost, and then north to find some guy telling me to get back to work. I ignore him and go east and down the stairs. West through another door and then south. I press a switch on the east to get rid of the fence to the west and step on the other switch to create more stairs to go down. I go west into a room with a few spikes on the floor, easily go around them and go west through the door. I then have to unlock the door to the south to find a cell with Fuji inside. They have to hurry as the airship is preparing to take off. They can't unlock the door, so we're gonna have to find our way around to the outside of the window and get her from there. Bogard also stays behind to keep Fuji safe. Unfortunately, I now have an annoying propeller sound playing over everything that refuses to end. While backtracking, I get hit by an I Spy and gain the Moogle status, turning me into a defenseless Moogle. I just realised they weren't in FF4, so this is the first game I've covered on this channel with Moogles. Back at the room with the 2 switches, I go back north and this time go west and up some stairs. Then south into a room where some random dude tells me that the Dark Lord once found a baby in a cave at the Glaive Waterfalls, said baby growing up to be Julius. I go west, west again, west one more time, north, and use a mattock on a vase to reach 2 more sets of stairs. I go up to end up back outside. From there it's east, north, west, west again, south and east again to reach the ladder down to the windows. East some more and I can see Fuji through one. Rather than escape, she gives Sumo her pendant as Julius shows up demanding it. He knocks Sumo off the edge where he can't hold on, leading to a massive fall. Sumo falls through the roof of the house in the town Menos. One of the people in the house recognises Sumo, and when he wakes up from injury for the 4th time this game, it turns out this is Amanda's house. You know, the woman I spoke to once at the start of the game. I forgot too. She apologises for being unable to stay with Sumo and leaves by the time he can get up. He also doesn't have Fuji's pendant. Going outside, an old man says Amanda left earlier that morning. Another man says he saw a chocobo egg in a forest to the north. With all the money built up from that grind earlier, I can easily afford a wind spear, 2 points stronger than the silver sword. On the east side of town, an old man lets me know that the town Jad is to the north past the desert. A white mage also lets me know that Amanda's little brother, Lester, lives in Jad as a musician. In a house, a woman says that the magic book of ice can be found in the desert. That's all the information I need, so I leave town and then continue south. The spears attack straight forward but can be thrown when charged. I go south again, cross the bridge over the river and go back north, then east. I cross another bridge and then go north. North again and west along this cliff and then north. North again and very quickly east and south. East once more and chain to a post to reach this egg. As soon as I inspect the egg, a chocobo hatches from it. It imprints on Sumo and starts following him. While backtracking, I reach level 31. I return to the screen with the bridge 3 screens south of Menos and take the west exit to enter the desert. This screen contains my first Death Scorpions and Basilisks. I get petrified here, but it just means I can't walk for a bit, I can still attack in any direction. I go west one screen and already I meet another new enemy, the Saurus. I go north, north again, and west to a screen full of trees, and then go north one more time to reach the town Jad. And it's totally quiet, with no music playing. The first guy I talk to says that this town is ruled by a Devias. In the first house, the woman inside tells me that Devias is the son of a Medusa that lives in a cave hidden in the desert oasis. One boy in town knows how to get in. A dwarf in the east of town lets me know that Devias has a spell to turn people into animals, and that many who have gone to confront him weren't seen again. North of him is the boy who says he'll tell me where the cave of the oasis is if I give him a bag of fangs. These are enemy drops and I don't have any. In the weapon shop I buy myself a gold shield, gold helmet and gold armour. Added together that's 11 more points to defence. In the northwest corner of town is Devias' house. I go through the rooms until I find him and he threatens me. He says he remembers Amanda, saying she went to the cave of Medusa in the oasis. So I leave town and get roaming around, killing enemies to try and get fangs. It takes about 5 minutes to make them drop. On the way back to Jad I reach level 32. I give them to the kid and he just gives me a clue, palm trees and 8. I leave town and go south, east, south, south again, west, west again and north to find another hut. The guy inside sells items that cast spells without using MP. I backtrack 2 screens and go north, east, south, south again and east to find an inn. From the inn it's west, west again and north to reach that oasis. I walk around the 2 palm trees in a figure 8 pattern to open the entrance to the cave of Medusa. Despite the head start, Amanda hasn't got very far, she's still in the first room. She admits to taking Fuji's pendant and trying to trade it to Devias for her brother, but he already turned her brother into the parrot that was in his room. Amanda's here to get the tears of Medusa that can cure him and Sumo agrees to help. I go through the door to the south. Amanda fights by throwing knives in a straight line. I use a mattock to break down the southern wall and get another 2 new enemies at once, the Pacoon Lizard and the Mummy, which is unharmed by my weapons. Going west takes me to a room with my first Shadow Zero, which I kill easily enough. I go west again and through the door in the south. Another new enemy, Cobras. West again and one more time, and north through the door. North through the door and north a 3rd time, followed by going west and using a key to unlock the door going south. Killing the enemies in this room spawns a chest with gold armour, so I wasted my money. I go back 2 screens and through the door north into a room with ice, 2 switches and a chain post. Just stepping on them opens the door and I go through to reach a chest containing the magic book of ice. With the ice spell in my possession I go to the previous room, then all the way south the way I came, reaching level 33 on the way. Backtrack 1 screen east and use a mattock on the northern wall to break through. There's a snowman in this room, a switch and an icy floor. I just have to push the snowman over and onto the switch to open the door north. The next room has 2 tarantulas. I keep messing up killing them. What I have to do is hit one with ice to turn it into another snowman and then push it onto the next switch so I can keep moving north. In the next room I go down the stairs and then north through the door and down more stairs to end up at the bottom. I go west to confront the Medusa. She wanders around the room throwing snakes at me. She can't be damaged from the front, only by hitting her snake hair from the side or from the back. The snakes are nothing, but making physical contact with Medusa herself still causes decent damage even at my level. Just keep stabbing her hair until she explodes. She knows we're here for her tears, so to spite us, she will not cry before her death. Sumo says we should just return to Jad for now, but Amanda stops him. She was bitten by Medusa, and being bitten by Medusa ensures that the victim will also become a Medusa. Amanda begs Sumo to take her tears and kill her before she fully transforms. Sumo says he can't, but her begging and the start of her slow transformation gets through to him, and you, the player, have to deal the killing blow. Sumo takes one of Amanda's tears and we're warped out. I think that may be the oldest case of the game having you perform the killing blow on a dying friend I'm aware of. I haven't seen any that came before this game. The trek back to Jad is uneventful. I return to Devious' room to find that he isn't in, but the parrot I now know to be Lester is, and I use Amanda's tears to cure him. And then after only being able to speak a single sentence, he's informed by Sumo of his sister's death. Lester asks for Sumo's help to avenge his sister and joins up with him. He plays a mystic tune to open up some stairs going down. I go down them to a spiked-filled room and through the door to the east. 2 new enemies, red wisps and gargoyles who pin me against the wall. They're immune to my spear and Lester's bow, but I can't be asked to swap weapons, so I just go east again through another door. Then I use a mattock on the north wall to reach a room filled with candles and go north again. This room introduces magicians, just the standard Final Fantasy Black Mage. They throw massive fireballs, like the ones Julius uses as an ally. I unlock the door going west and then south. I have to cross these one-way tiles anti-clockwise along the rooms to reach the stairs going up. Up here it's west, then west yet again into a spiky room where I'm still going west into a room with 4 switches. I have to start with the eastern one and walk over them anti-clockwise to open up some stairs going down. I go north and west, then south through 4 screens. In this one I have to freeze an enemy into a snowman and place it on the switch to open the door going east. Killing the enemies in this room gets me a Were Axe, 4 points stronger than the Wind Spear. Backtrack a few screens to this one with a spiked middle and use a mattock on the eastern wall. Then it's south and up some stairs. I unlock the door going north and up more stairs to end up on the roof. I go west to find Devious, who taunts me and transforms into another regular Final Fantasy enemy, the Mind Flayer. This boss is the first to use the game's second, and better, boss theme. He has 4 fireballs surrounding him and is always firing out more. I just have to get inside his circle, spam my axe and heal when necessary. He goes down in no time. With his dying words, Devious lets us know that he no longer has Fuji's pendant. The Garuda is flying over Mount Rocks to glaive with it. Back outside, Lester uses his harp to get rid of the poisonous gas to the north so that I can continue my quest. It also adds music to Jad. Lester is going to stay here and gives me the magic book of Mute. But that's where we'll be leaving things this episode. I wanted to cover this game in one video, but circumstances have left me with less time, so I'll have to split this one into 2. Won't be too long to wait, as the next part will be the first video of the next episode to make up for it.